Hey all, it's JB Fangirl. I meant to make this video sooner, and I did, but the problem was since my Labyrinth video got removed, and since my Easy A video got removed, I'm not allowed to post any videos over 15 minutes anymore. So what I am thinking is, I made a Podbean account, which is a website specifically for podcasts. So it's a YouTube only for podcasts. And I made a page specifically for Chibi Fangirl. The problem is I have not tested it out yet, so I do not know how it works. So I know we're coming back in the summer, like the second week or the first week in June. And I am going to test it out before then because I want to see how it works because I'm not specifically sure how, and I tried to upload a sample of one of our earlier episodes and I couldn't get it to do so, so I found a different kind of uploader, so hopefully that will work. No, the reason why I made this video is because I'm starting another vlog series specifically for the World Instrument series because I just started reading the audiobook. Well, listening to the audiobook. I'm not specifically reading because I cannot read out loud. But it's different from the movie. I can tell you that. And if you want my thoughts from the movie, go to my Tumblr post, my most recent one, because on my earlier video, I was not allowed to post it, but it was basically a crossover between the vlog series and a debate session. So if you want to see that, I'll post the link in the description. For now, this is only the chapters 1 through 7, what I thought. For one thing, the most significant thing that stood out to me so far is we don't see Simon for a while, and in the movie we see him for like a long time. Like we see him in almost every single scene. So like in the book he barely shows up. He's like in the first 3 chapters, and then after Clary goes to the asylum, or not the asylum, the academy, like, we don't see him for a while. At least, not where I am, at least. But for those who didn't read this, watch the movie, I'm going to give you a synopsis of what I've read so far. Our main character is Clary. I don't like her because both in the movie and the book so far, at least, she just comes off as really, bitchy and disrespectful towards other people, and it's just really hard to relate to this character. I mean, I relate to her in some senses, but not in the sense that I'd like to. Um, I like to call this stereotype the disrespectful teenager stereotype. Just like in every, either book or movie, they create this stereotype saying like teenagers are very disrespectful towards everybody, and it's not really true because I'm still 18 and I do not act like that. I respect people unless they have something against me, then I go full on bitch mode, but that's not the point here. This is commonly used in comedy, but in its sense, this story is not a comedy, and yes, there are some funny parts, especially in the movie, but Claire's just disrespectful towards everyone, especially her mother in the movie. And not in the movie, the book. In the movie, we barely see her, but in the book, you can definitely see it. Her mother in the movie is more of what's called a shadow hunter, which is basically like this whole mythical story about how angels gave humans this cup of blood, and they would drink it and they would become immortal shadow hunters, and that's what her mother is. So, that's another character. There's also Simon, which is just a human friend of Clary's. And then there's the Shadow Hunters, which consist of Jace, Isabel, and Alec. Each of them have their own specific identities of who they are so far. Let's start with Jace, since he's the most significant character out of the whole series. He's the reason why I watched the movie, because I saw the movie only the first half when I was in school, because that's what we did on our free days, because sometimes we have something called Fun Fridays, and then we would watch like movies or go and do something. So we watched Mortal Instruments one day, and the only reason I wanted to continue, not only because of the story, because Jace is so pretty. So Jace is like the other main protagonist. He's very pretty, he's sarcastic, he's witty. very strong, and he's kind of like the emo figure of the group. And I usually don't have anything towards emo characters, but he makes things very interesting. I can tell you that. Like, he's not like not that you people would know, but like he's like the Sasuke of the group, but he actually isn't that much of an asshole. But he kind of is in some sense, but not in the point where it's annoying. It's more funny than annoying. So he's also very flirtatious in some sort as well. There's also Alec, which I didn't find out until after the movie, that apparently he is gay, and Shadowhunters are not allowed to be gay because it's frowned upon, so he's kind of in the closet. And from what I remember in the movie, he did not like Clary because she was flirting with Jace, and he likes Jace. So, yeah, that's what we know about him. And then there's Isabel, which is Alex's sister, and she carries a whip, and that's all I know about her. Yep, has barely any character yet so far, other than she wears very revealing clothing. That's about it I know of her in the movie sense, but in the book sense, I haven't seen too much of her character either. She seems a lot nicer in the book than she did in the movie. Because in the movie, everyone just seemed like a jerk to Clary, and I'm like, I don't even care. This main character is a jerk anyway. So, that's what made the movie funny, too. So, alright, let's actually talk about the first 7 chapters, because that's what I've read so far. Our main character, Clary, and Simon go to a club, and it's an all-ages club, and Clary sees this boy who Simon cannot see, and he gets in the club and lets the two in, and Clary's following this boy around, and something is odd about this boy. Like, he's flirting with this girl who we find out is Isabel later, and she and the other shadow hunters surround this boy in an employees only room. So I'm just checking the time limit. I'm just seeing if I went over time. Okay, we're on 7 minutes. All right, I gotta finish up here because we're really behind. All right, so there's this whole battle scene going on, and Clary's like, "What the hell's going on?" And they're explaining how can you see us? We're not particularly your kind. We are shadow hunter here. You're not supposed to see us. And Jace is questioning her, like, what are you exactly? Because if you're not a mundane, which they call humans for some reason, regular humans at least, then do you have any shadow hunter parents? And she's like, well, not that I know of. And then she gets home late, and her mother's really angry with her, and Clary starts saying awful, awful things to her, and like how her mother wants to go on vacation, and Claire does not want to because she has friends here. She has to get things done, and her mother's like, no, 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 and then like Claire just goes full out awful on her. And then she goes to a poetry club with Simon, and they're watching Simon's friend, who is god awful, and like Simon's saying how I don't get a girlfriend, I'm not loved enough, and then all of a sudden Jace appears, and Simon cannot see him, and and Claire goes running off with him, and like he's asking her questions, and like she's asking why he's following her, and then it turns out that Clary's mother's been attacked, and the two of them have to go running after her. And then Clary gets her first battle with the demon, and this is another drastic change from the movie. This happens directly in the beginning of the film, while in the book, it doesn't happen for like chapter 3, and it's totally a different scenario. And not only that, Clary fights the demon by herself and does not get the help from Jace until the very end of the battle. Here, they're both doing the work here, like, they're both giving significant amount of work, but Clary's not really doing much of anything in some sense either, because she doesn't know what she's doing. And then, she gets bitten by this demon, and Jace has to go take her back to this place called the Academy, or I forget what it's called, but he takes her back to where he lives, and, he heals her, but he has to burn her clothes, so fan service! Because if she's bitten by a demon, she can possibly die within a short period of time, so she has to borrow Isabel's clothes, that don't even fit her, they're way too big on her, which is very significant. Trust me, it is. they're saying what they are. They fight demons, vampires, fairies, devils, all those kinds of creatures. And Jace is an orphan, so that's also very significant. Because his father died by a demon and his mother died from childbirth. So yeah, and then Isabel and Alec, they're siblings, and I don't know too much about their backstory other than their parents are on vacation with a younger sibling who we know very little about. So we also get the Dumbledore character. I don't remember his name, but he's very important. He comes in and like he wants to investigate Clary's backstory and what's going on in her life. Why are the demons attacking her? Because they only attack shadow hunters. And she does not know what's going on because her mother never told her anything, and she calls her mother's boyfriend, and her mother's boyfriend wants nothing to do with her. Absolutely nothing. And we don't know what happened to the mother, so that's why she called him. Because her body was not found, so she's not dead. At least we don't know yet. So the Dumbledore character does not want Clary going back to the house because he feels it's unsafe, but she and Jace go anyway just to do some investigation. She needs to get some stuff from there, and she'll be ready to go on with her life, hopefully. And she has this neighbor, which is another significant part in the movie where her neighbor is a witch. However, in the movie she has a totally different persona, but I'm not going to explain it because I'm on lack of time already. But if you're interested, read the Tumblr. But in the book, she's more sarcastic and witty, and yes, she has that grumpy style, but like it's more funny than it is like creepy. And she gives Clary this tarot reading and saying that her mother is missing somewhere. Well, yeah, we knew that, but like we're getting this whole backstory of how like she was hiding criminals with her mother, like these shadow criminals. And Jace gets really mad, and Clary finds this portal. And she goes in, and then Jace gets really mad at her, and that's where chapter 7 ends. Another thing I'm going to add is Jace does not like cucumber or Earl Grey. That's very significant. No, I'm only pointing that out because I fangirl over him way too much. Right underneath Jareth, because I don't know too much about this character yet, so I'd like to know more of what makes him tick, and I'm really interested in this story because of the whole biblical and fantasy like setting, so that's really intriguing, and I'm gonna continue reading this book. It's a really long one. It's much longer than the Hunger Games books, because those were about like 28 chapters, and I think this one's like about 50 per book, and there's like 7 of them. So, I think I'm just gonna do the vlogs on the first 3 books, and if it gets repetitive, then I won't do it so much. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the first 7 chapters, and I'll come back with the next 7 chapters soon.